I cannot speak about Hugo Medrano without talking about the theater and Rebecca Medrano. I go back. I go back to the early days when Hugo and Rebecca founded GALA Hispanic Theatre in a townhouse on 18th Street in Adams Morgan. Let that sink in. The theater was first established in a townhouse. So picture this. It was a two-story row house with a basement. The basement had a separate entrance. When you came to the theater, you would go down the steps that led to the basement to the first room in the basement where there was the box office. The box office consisted of Rebecca sitting at a table with a sheet of paper with handwritten reservations and a cash box. From that room, you would go into the dressing room that had one bathroom, and then there was a back room that was basically storage, and sometimes you could sneak there and go over your lines if you could. Then on the first floor, you had three areas: the audience, the stage, and backstage. Second floor, offices. Oh, and there was a room in the back that I used to call Party Central because that's where we held the opening night parties. So everyone will squeeze into that room and eat and drink, and eventually there wasn't enough room, so we all had to go into the hallway and sit on the stairs, and believe me, we had a great time. During those years, Hugo Medrano performed every single artistic function. He was the artistic director, technical director, sound designer, costume designer, lighting designer. What else did he do? He was a dramaturg, he was an actor, he was an acting coach. He did absolutely everything that was related to being an artist. And Rebecca did everything else. The theater started in that townhouse. They worked very hard. They were at various locations. We performed throughout the city. And eventually they were able to build this absolutely comfortable, spacious, majestic theater that is not just a theater. It is a national center for the Latino performing arts. What a record, huh? So next up, we're going to have four people actually, who are associated with GALA Hispanic Theatre, who have been associated with that. ¿Diga?
Hay un video que va.
Oh, sí, pero primero tengo que mencionar a la gente. Estamos en familia. We are going to have Carlos Castillo deliver the eulogy. Carlos Castillo is a long-term member of the acting company of GALA Hispanic Theatre. We were in a play together many years ago at Burlador de Sevilla, and he played 4 roles in that show and got a Helen Hayes nomination. And he's appearing right now in the show that GALA is producing at the very moment. Right now, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to see it. I saw it Sunday night. It's great. And if you have seen it, tell your friends about it. We also have Ana Mer Castillo y Maripaz, pianist and former musical director. They're going to perform a song. And then Ana Verónica Muñoz is going to read selections from a Federico Garcia Lorca poem, Verte que te quiero ver. Ana Verónica played in Yerma in this theater, the very first production that opened this theater, and she has since appeared in many other productions at GALA. But first, as Rebecca pointed out, we're going to see a video called
Hugo vive.
Primer acto, Hugo. And I believe it's sort of a retrospective. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's a retrospective of his life, and perhaps we can learn something about our beloved artistic director. So let's have the video.
El primer abrazo que Hugo me dio fue aquel inolvidable de bienvenida. En el Reagan National, cuando llegué a DC en 1998. Llegaba yo contratado por 3 meses para interpretar al Laurencio de la Dama Boba, del gran Lope de Vega. Pisando esta tierra, expectante y con las líneas del personaje fieles al papel que las agrupaba desde donde mi memoria logró sellarlas, conocí a este Hugo maravilloso. Un tipo flaco, de 55 años, argentino, con cara de aquellos que saben acariciar el piso con la suela del zapato cuando el tango los invita, algo así. Tenía ojos vivaces, los gestos sutiles pero firmes al mismo tiempo, algo de simpática suspicacia y mucho de curiosidad intelectual. No se asomaba en mi cabeza ni la más remota sospecha que entre aquel primer abrazo de bienvenida y el último pasarían 24 años y medio, casi un cuarto de siglo, que describirían un viaje maravilloso en lo que un actor llama su paraíso. El escenario. No sé en cuántas obras me dirigió. Con certeza puedo decir que fueron muchas. Pero sí recuerdo en especial nuestras largas conversaciones sobre el misterio de Juan de Germa, o la pasión de Leonardo de Bodas de Sangre, aquel Don Juan que nos quitaba el sueño a comienzos del milenio. Nosotros hablamos de Cervantes, él y yo, de Cervantes y sus entremeses. Nos reímos. ¿Cómo nos reímos de la comedia? Rica cosa, gracioso entretenimiento para ocupar gente ociosa. Hablamos de las lágrimas. Hablamos de las lágrimas. Que lejos del llanto del actor, se trata más bien del hecho de mover y conmover al público. Hablamos del amor, de su amor por el lenguaje, la pluma del alma, el idioma español y sus palabras, que han sido capaces de elevarnos por encima de las bestias y que también nos han hundido a menudo a nivel de los demonios. A Hugo lo vi de tantas formas, el hombre de 1000 sombreros, el actor conmovido hasta la médula, el director por cuyos ojos se enfilaron tantos y tantos actores, algunos inolvidables y muy queridos. A Hugo lo vi sembrar utopías, lo vi sacudir el olvido a un teatro, lacerado por la negligencia. Lo vi orgulloso mostrarme en los nuevos camerinos de este teatro Tivoli cuando aún estaban a medio hacer. Lo vi señalarme dónde irían las nuevas marquesinas, las nuevas butacas. Lo vi regocijarse por la cosecha de esta realidad que ayer era quimera. Se me agrupan tantas cosas en la memoria como aquel quimérico museo de formas inconstantes, ese montón de espejos rotos que somos, como decía Borges. No podré jamás cerrarle los ojos al recuerdo de aquel día. Era un domingo, casi a las 4 de la tarde. Era el courting call o saludo a la audiencia de la valentía de Alfredo Sansol. En medio de los aplausos, Hugo se acerca al escenario, como siempre lo hacía, cada última función. Estaba sentado allí. Era un hombre de 80 años, elegante, con el alma de bandoneón y el mismo corazón de poeta de siempre. Y me dio un abrazo. Aquí. Aquí. y le di un abrazo hinchado de mi más profunda gratitud porque sabía que de esos abrazos ya no quedaba mucho. Le dije, gracias, Hugo, y él sonrió, y exactamente 8 días más tarde él se marchaba en busca de nuevas aventuras, como aquel Quijote que nunca encarnó en el escenario, pero sí tantas veces fuera de él. A veces, en mi mente, vuelvo donde él me dejó ese domingo, aquí. Y no sé por qué recuerdo su empeño en las diagonales en escena. Y pienso que el escenario, este escenario, es un tablero de ajedrez. Y veo a Hugo venir nuevamente con ese último abrazo. Y yo soy, por caprichos de la imaginación, un alférez o alfil, que aunque sabe que debe moverse en diagonal, no encuentra una que pueda evitar el jaque mate al rey que se avecina. A veces en mi mente vuelvo donde me dejaste este domingo y te digo una vez más, gracias, Hugo, qué delicia fue imaginar estos personajes juntos. Qué sagrado fue juntarnos a crear, pero nadie podrá negar nunca cuánto nos divertimos, porque nos divertimos. Te quiero, y tú lo sabes, te voy a extrañar toda la vida. Bueno, eso también lo sabes.
Mantenemos un cariño limpio y puro para amarnos. Nos tenemos un amor ya muy profundo. And tomorrow, should you ask me for the world, somehow I'd get it. I would sell my very soul and not regret. impossible. Quiero verde, verde viento, verdes ramas, el barco sobre la mar y el caballo en la montaña. Con la sombra en la cintura, ella sueña en su baranda, verde carne, pelo verde, con ojos de fría plata. Verde que te quiero verde. Bajo la luna gitana, las cosas la están mirando y ella no puede mirarlas. Verde, que te quiero verde. Grandes estrellas de escarcha vienen con el pez de sombra que abre el camino del alba. La higuera frota su viento con la lija de sus ramas y el monte, gato gorduño, eriza sus pitas agrias. ¿Pero quién vendrá? ¿Y por dónde? Ella sigue en su baranda, verde carne, pelo verde, soñando en la mar amarga. Compadre, quiero cambiar mi caballo por su casa, mi montura por su espejo, mi cuchillo por su manta. Compadre, vengo sangrando desde los puertos de Cabra. Si yo pudiera, musito, este trato se cerraba. Pero yo ya no soy yo, ni mi casa está mi casa. Compadre, quiero morir decentemente en mi cama, de acero si puede ser, con las sábanas de Holanda. ¿No veis la herida que tengo desde el pecho a la garganta? 300 rosas morenas lleva tu pechera blanca. Tu sangre resuma y vuela alrededor de tu paja, pero yo ya no soy yo, ni mi casa es ya mi casa. Dejadme al menos subir hasta las altas barandas. Dejadme subir, dejadme hasta las altas barandas. Barandales de la luna por donde retumba el agua. Ya suben los dos compadres hacia las altas barandas, dejando un rastro de sangre, dejando un rastro de lágrimas. Temblaban en los tejados farolillos de hojalata, 1000 panderos de cristal herían la madrugada. Verde, que te quiero verde. Verde viento, verdes ramas.
Have Eduardo Perdomo, the Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Latino Affairs, and that before he comes on stage, on behalf of the GALA Theatre, and especially on behalf of the Medrano family, we would like to thank Mayor Muriel Bowser, for issuing this proclamation and for supporting GALA Hispanic Theatre and making this event possible. So we would like to have Eduardo Perdomo, the Executive Director, come up.
Also, when one of the actors that Director Hugo Medrano directed here at the GALA Theatre. And my experience here was a difficult one because it was in front of a top audience. So I had little to no time to prepare. I was talking to Antonio, and I think also, I believe someone else. It was for the Three Kings event. And as you know, kids don't lie, right? So they were like, who are you and what are you doing on there?
No, so I'm trying to act on one of the Three Kings. But one of the things that I could mention and highlight about Hugo and Rebecca, Juan, La Familia Medrano, is the fact that they have invested so much of their life into making sure that, and Hugo's life, in making sure that we are build a bridge of culture, connecting people. It's something that you said, Juan Gabriel, in the video, and this is a testament. This space here, a testament of that, building that bridge to connect people beyond what we can even imagine today. You got your first check as an actor from GALA Theatre, right? And as you as well, so many different people came through here, more than 7,500 actors that came through here. And it's easy to say it, but this is a living legacy. And we all, have a responsibility as individuals, part of this beautiful community and this beautiful city. We all have a responsibility of preserving this beautiful space. And Rebecca and the family and everyone in here can be sure that while the mayor is still there as a mayor, Mayor Muriel Balser, this institution is going to stay alive, not only alive, touching people's life, not only touching people's life, changing the ecosystem of culture in Washington, D.C., because without GALA Theatre, there wouldn't be any Washington, D.C. as we know it, you know? I mean, I'm not gonna read this because it's on the program, but you can rest assured that the mayor, through her Office on Latino First, is going to continue to support you guys.
se va, queda un espacio vacío que no lo puede llenar la llegada de otro amigo. Cuando un amigo se va, queda un tizón encendido que no se puede acabar ni con las aguas del río. Cuando un amigo se va.
But before they do, all right, I have a brief story to tell about something that happened many years ago. I was performing at GALA Hispanic Theatre back at the house, the townhouse on 18th Street. And at that time, the play that I was in called for me, my character, to kill taxi drivers. Rob them and kill them while I was dressed in drag. I had 3-inch heels, a gold sequins dress, a Dolly Parton wig. Remember, Hugo Medrano was the costume designer. I had nothing to do with that outfit. So I'm in the dressing room, waiting to go on. The door to the rehearsal, to the dressing room opens, and in comes Rebecca with Octavio, carrying him in one of those little baby baskets. And she says to me, "Ah, Manolo, you're here, great. I have to go up to the second floor where the offices are, remember? And get some papers that I need. I've got to work at home tonight. So I'm going to leave the baby with you while I go upstairs. I'm only going to be gone for like 5 minutes." And I said, "Rebecca, I'm in drag. I don't think I should be babysitting. And I've got to go on. You know, I'm waiting for my cue." She goes, "Oh my God, the baby has no idea that you're in drag. And I know very well that you're not up for at least 10, 15 good minutes." So she left me with Octavio. I'm happy to report that Octavio survived that way. So, after that lovely introduction to the family, Rebecca, Juan Gabriel, Octavio Medrano, Alexis Medrano, who wishes he could be here, but he had a work conflict emergency and he couldn't be here. So if he would come up.
Thank you. First, I want to thank God for giving me Hugo as a dad, instilling incredible values that so many people I grew up with, and he just taught us so much, and giving back to the community, and he instilled so many of those values in us that we hold dear. Thank my mom for her resilience and determination. I want to thank Pamela, my fiance, for being my angel, and my dad and mom's angel, if you would, over the past year or so. We're not, Alexis can't be here with us at the moment. If we could just all say for a second, "We love you, Alexis." I would love to take 1 second to say, "We love you!" How can we not be sad with your departure, Dad, the loss of our king. There will continue to be tears shed, pero no hay pena, solo hay agradecimiento. Gratitude, there is no sorrow here, there is just gratitude. Dad was much more than an amazing man and father. He was funny, playful, a symbol of dreams and success. I wanted to offer a story about Dad, but I didn't know if I should tell the one where I didn't know which to choose, right? Preston, you might not know this, but one time we were in the back, he planted a beautiful plant, and then it was in a nice vase, and the next thing you know, it's gone. And he went chasing someone down, and got the plant back, and he was so proud to come back and said he almost got into a fist fight, but didn't, but he convinced the person to give him the plant back. I'll never forget that. And I thought about telling one where, he wrote from Argentina saying that he loves his country, but it's full of hincha pelotas. But the most powerful story for me, I think, is the one in which he directed to me the biggest lesson, which was in him transitioning. He did it with such a curiosity that I think I've seen in my father in so many ways, this twinkle in his eye. He knew where he was going, he knew what he needed to do, and he didn't want anyone to suffer on his behalf. And he made that. He directed all that in such a beautiful, masterful way. So, if you'd give me a moment, I'll share with you a poem that I wrote for you, Dad. I called it Ojitos del Cielo. Querido papá, maravillosamente hecho. Qué visión tan especial la tuya, che. Yo te veo divino. Trascendiste el tiempo y el espacio. Eras un pibe inspirado de las pampas, convertido en inspiración para los inspiradores. Tus respiraciones y opiniones me llenaron con perspectiva, con ilusión. Serviste como mi escalera al arco iris, mi telaraña, mi tren de imaginación. Si fuera nuestra decisión de escoger el elenco de familia, te elegiría de nuevo, papá. Me nombraste, me diste forma, me mostraste la vida detrás de tus refinados ojos. Eres la chacarera de mi día, la milonga de mis noches y mi persona favorita. Esa forma de conectar con tu esencia amorosa era única. Eres un cultivador de sueños, un diseñador de nuestro hogar y la familia de Gala. Sigues siendo nuestro regalo precioso e inolvidable. Huguito no es, eres un Hugazo. Voy a extrañar tantos tus miradas, tu legendario carisma, quejas divertidos, nuestras charlas, compartiendo recuerdos y tus gritos profanos al perro. Voy a extrañar el centello de tus ojitos marroncitos, pero nos van a acompañar y amplificar siempre desde el reino celestial. Veré tu brillo en los rayos dorados del sol y tu hermosa sonrisa asomándose entre las nubes, y te siento presente en mi alma. Vas a estar conmigo cuando escucho los cantos de los pájaros más raros y distinguidos. Miedo no tuviste, ni la muerte, siempre lleno de amor verdadero a la vida y de sus dulces regalos. Descansa, papá bello, siempre serás lo más bello, siempre voy a ser tu Juangui, ahora y eternamente. Wow.
Hello. Wanted to follow up on this story about me being a baby in the row house. Apparently I was eating cigarette butts. But I guess I turned out okay. I just want to say it's really amazing to see the extended family here, and just thank everyone for being here, and I have to just, a disclaimer, I don't deal well with death. My brother put a great effort into producing this whole event. I honestly did not partake because it was just too depressing for me. I couldn't even think about it. But I just want to share some. I can't. What can I say about my dad? He's so accomplished. I just want to share some stories about my personal experiences with him. He was a man who I, admired. He was a hero to me. I didn't need comics or movies. He was the real living thing. In school, in Oyster Elementary, which is like the first bilingual school in DC. He'd walk and pick me up, and one day he came with a new pair of shoes that were Velcro in the 80s. It was just very exclusive. And I saw the look on all my friends' faces, and I just felt just like better than everyone else. It's one of the oldest and fondest memories that I have. And for a kid getting a new pair of shoes, and we grew up pretty broke. In a theater, you don't make a lot of money in DC. And it was just such he was just the coolest dad that you could have, just walking up, looking, his style was like, I got my style from him. His style was just unprecedented. What I learned most from him was he taught me how to cook. And that's one of the few things that I enjoy doing, because I like cooking for people. I like seeing people enjoying the food that I prepare. And till the very end, we'd have these Sunday dinners, and he would come, and as a grown man, I'd look for approval in his face to see if he approved of the food that I made, and I was scared. Because he's, this snooty Argentinian that's going to say, this is a piece of shit meal that you prepared. Most of the time it was okay. He's an Argentinian, and we all know Argentinians. But now I have to read from the paper, because this is just, I'm going to sort of summarize the last couple weeks of his life. He was in and out of the hospital with his breathing issues. But in between the hospital stints, the last couple of weeks of my father's life, he had been in and out of the hospital with breathing issues. But in between the visits, exactly 1 week before he passed, he had a good day where he was strong enough to come and have one last supper. Basically, it was one last supper, and we were all there. And he just gave his best, and we were able to play cards, share moments of happiness. Even though he wasn't feeling the best, he put his best forth. And even though he wasn't feeling his best, I think he knew that he had to make it count one last time. And that's what he showed me in life, is that you always have to make time for family. No matter the demands of the theater, we always made sure to see each other once a week. And for a while, and this is another side story, before my sons were born, we had started some sort of movie review club where we'd see a movie with my wife and her mom, and we'd go to dinner and do a pseudo review of the movie. But he was just the greatest dad. He just made time when he didn't have time. And that's, the most important, because time is, you can't buy time. He gave it to me. And in his death, to me, he was about life. It was beautiful, yet a painful process. Death is life's paradox. It comes for us whether we're ready or not. But my father was certainly ready. And in his death, he showed me beauty. As my brother had said, he directed his last moments on this earth, like the extraordinary director that we all know him to be. He wanted no assisted living situation and waited for all of the family to be present at the hospital before he ultimately decided to let go. He found beauty in his own death, and I swear before God, the last words he spoke to me were, "I love you, I love you, I love you. There is beauty in death." And at that moment, I knew he was truly at rest. With his last few breaths, he knew the vast expanse was next. How he was ready to face something so heavy left me feeling unsteady. Sad because he left me in the physical, but not in the spiritual. For at night we speak. He talks and I listen, like in my youth when he was teaching me to cook in the kitchen. He always told me to look upon decisions in life, to be kind and lend a helping hand, to free your mind whenever you can. Always strive to be a better man. Stand tall wherever you stand, and forever cherish your fam. I know you are watching this now, and I know you are proud. I'm glad that I was able to see you take your final bow. But also know that we will take care of Mom, and have no doubt that the theater will live on. For the foundation you built it upon is more solid than concrete. And this leads me to my last two words that I speak. Viva Hugo.
Can you hear me? Oh, yeah. I'm so short. Thank you all, everyone, for being here, and I'm going to be very brief because you've heard from us and from me on the video, but Hugo would want to hear from all of you. He would want to hear the stories you have to share, because that's the generous person that he was. It was never about him. This would be, for him, he would want a day of celebration and joy, not of grieving. And he would thank all of you for your stories. I met Hugo when I was 23 and he was 29, and I fell madly in love with him up at GALA Theatre the instant I saw him. I'd never seen such a beautiful man. But he was a little different. Hugo was hard to catch. He didn't give me the time of day. I had to really work on it. But when he finally committed to our relationship, he loved me unconditionally. And I had some conditions. I had a lot of conditions. But he ignored those and loved me unconditionally. We had a lot of growing up to do, and we did it together. Over the years and through ups and downs, we worked a beautiful dynamic. And we raised these three amazing sons, and we shared a world vision for Hispanic culture. I learned so much from Hugo. I just want to share a few of those lessons, and Octavio has said one of them. The first, pursue your passion despite all obstacles. The second, don't dwell on the past or question the future. Live in the moment, because that's all we have. Spend as much time as you can with family and friends, for they are your true treasures. And finally, spend more money than you have if it's to create beautiful art. Bell is going to speak now as the godfather, if we have a mic for him.
Exactly. Happiness to me as a mentor, a colleague, a friend, a brother, and an inspiration. His passing brought grief to his family and friends, shock to the community, and an outpouring of affection and respect for a man, an artist who, along with Rebecca, created a space where stories were told and staged in Spanish by Latino artists. Together, Hugo and Rebecca created a home for Latin American immigrants and for American Latinos like myself, looking for that place where we could find community with other artists who looked like me but who were absent from the nation's stages, concert halls, museums, bookshelves, and narratives. For Hugo knew that those who come to this country come with cultural traditions and stories that span centuries and that will inform, shape, and define the American culture. For that was his life, his lived experience. Although he came alone to this country, he carried within him an appreciation and exposure to diverse cultures, aesthetics, and traditions that influenced the life he lived here. He may have started his life in the United States bussing tables, but he became a giant in the Latino community and nation's cultural sector. In spite of his many accomplishments and recognitions he received, he was a simple man, devoted to his family, who loved to cook the turkey at Thanksgiving and then carve it with great flair at the dinner table as we all watched like a Norman Rockwell painting. Who loved to search for the most perfect, enormous Christmas tree and then decorate it with ornaments acquired in his travels or made by the boys or grandkids. Who loved to go to a basketball game or see a film with Octavio. Who listened intently with great pride to Juan Gabriel advise him about his medication. And his voice would ring with excitement when he spoke to Alexis about living in California. I will forever remember how we would often end a telephone conversation with his sons with "I love you, booby," or some like fatherly phrase. Although a simple man, Hugo simply loved a great find or deal. There will never be anyone better than Hugo at finding a designer suit, jacket, sweater, or pair of pants at a great price in a consignment shop. He knew where to look and when to look for something, and boy did that world expand when he mastered the internet. And no one could wear clothes like Hugo, from the classic look to the latest trend. He knew how to wear it with style and confidence. For he was curious and daring, analytical and critical, thoughtful and confident, a great observer of human behavior, keenly attuned to what was happening in the world and in the community, but more importantly, how it affected what we do and how we do it. As a performer, there were few in his league. Who can forget his Molina in The Kiss of the Spider Woman, or Bernarda in The House of Bernarda Alba, Carlos Gardel in Matatangos, the blind man in Cita a Ciegas, his aging Cristo in Aeroplanos, his dying in Jerusalem in Cirillo in Una Visita Inoportuna. His portrayals were windows into our soul, our vulnerability, our strengths and insecurities, our vanities and our humanity. He took us on journeys that were profound, where his physicality revealed more than the words he uttered. With Hugo, we heard what we saw. He seduced us, comforted us, challenged us, inspired us. He made us believe in ourselves and that the journey was as important as the outcome. It has been just 3 months since he took his final bow. It was appropriate that it was the day we gathered as a community to celebrate the artistry of a Regents Theatre artist at the Helen Hayes Awards. It was a bittersweet moment, saddened by Hugo's loss in the morning and then celebrating in the evening the recognition of so many Latino artists with the Helen Hayes Awards. Artists he nourished and provided opportunities to share their talent with Washington audiences because he believed in them. I think of Hugo every day. I find myself glancing toward his desk to ask or tell him something, but he's not there. But what remains, I cherish. The many memories I have of watching him work or work a crowd, engage in deep discussion about art and life with staff and friends, eating his lunch on a plate with proper silverware, never out of a container, savoring each bite as if it were a ritual. How he answered the phone as he was making an entrance on stage. And in the early years when we would end a rehearsal and then put carpet down and paint walls in the theater until 2 a.m. in the morning, tired but happy because we were doing what we loved and believed in. And I will hold on to the memory, seared into my mind, of standing backstage with Hugo and Rebecca on the evening we opened the theater, arms wrapped around each other as tears streamed down our eyes, in realization of the milestone we had achieved and what was possible now that we had this theater. As we walked on stage to welcome the community to our new theater and home, I was thankful that they had shared this vision and their dreams with me for a home for Latino artists and supporters together. So tonight I join you in celebrating his life and legacy as we welcome him home one last time. Que viva Hugo. Que viva Hugo. Que viva Hugo.
México. Y en el alto cielo su fondo estrellado, y en las multitudes el hombre